So what is blockchain? Let's talk about the blockchain. It's important you're going to hear that blockchain will be the word that you will hear for many, many years. And it will have a variety of applications. And it's not about a Bitcoin and blockchain. Blockchain is a public warehouse of information that is accessible by anyone who either has the keys to the platform, or someone that knows that has public keys so you can trace it. So blockchain technology is used to create this total digital tracking system, but it doesn't really matter on what blockchain does, because it can use for much more. It can be used for much more than finance, because it allows you to track, and we're working on a project with medical records. You can store someone's medical records. So if you're brought into an emergency room, they have access to at least that information, that any allergies you may have. There's a variety of, worked on one with blockchain was going to be used for airplane parts, to be able to log every single airplane part for the commercial airline industry, because they all have numbers on them, but being able to access it, being able to find them. So you're going to find blockchain touching your lives in many different ways in the years to come. But what we care about today, is being able to apply blockchain and QR codes in multiple uses so that we can get to our core question, is drive incremental revenue for the ATM industry. That's what this is all about. And I'm honored to be here to be able to present a perspective. So what do you do with blockchain? How can we use that in conjunction with QRs? I personally believe that it is so simple to copy a mag stripe, disable the chip, force the card into the mag stripe reader for, I guess we'll call it illicit use, that I think that there's going to be a lot of financial services companies moving to the QR. And so when you look at open loop credit, debit, prepaid card authorizations is another way with a QR code to provide much more security and safety in those transactions. There's really the concept of open and closed loop cryptocurrencies, and I call them blockchain currencies. Crypto to me always kind of gets me back into the concept of Superman and kryptonite, but open and closed loop cryptocurrencies, what that means is, one is like Bitcoin is open, it's available to everybody. Closed loop is like a gift card. And so you're able to create your own world. There are such things as a private blockchain, there's public, and there's far, far more than we want to talk about today. But open and closed loop cryptocurrencies still give you the security, they give you the globalization that you would want. But there's also the ability to do loyalty, being able to track an airline, for example, could move their entire loyalty program. An example would be American Airlines and their Advantage program over to blockchain, because all the airlines lose millions and millions of dollars each year in stolen air miles. This would make it almost impossible to steal air miles. Bill payment, financial services, every aspect of our lives can be touched by the blockchain and its ability to be a ledger and to move transactions on our behalf. Amber? So let's talk about what's happening. The world is going to be moving to digital currencies. How's that a big statement? So 19 countries have done. The EU, Italy just yesterday did a major presentation to the European Union to create a euro coin. That's a kind of a working title. But countries all over the world are moving to create digital currencies. And so there was one company called US Digital Dollar that tried to champion a US coin. It's really not, the Treasury decided they're going to build their own Liberty coin or crypto coin, whatever they're going to call it. But the United States is on the cusp of being able to use and provide an electronic coin along the lines of Bitcoin that people will be able to use, but it has no volatility in its value. And as a category, they call these stable coins. It's stable from a pricing. So if you buy 10, we'll call them the Liberty coins as a working title, you buy 10, it's always worth $10, no different than the $10 bill that's in your wallet. One of the biggest releases coming out is the Chinese, right? And so what we're seeing is that the ability of China to use and implement a digital yuan is not theory, is not practice to be considered. It's real. And what makes that important is for us as ATM industry people, is that those people, those Chinese visitors, 3 million of them last year came into the United States and will want to have access to their digital yuan because it's safer, it's faster, it's on their mobile phone. They can walk up to an ATM and transact. Japan has also entered into the digital world. They're a very big Bitcoin country. And so they want their own digital coin, a digital yen. So then Libra, everybody read the press releases and all of the noise on Libra, which was a really good idea because it focused really on the unbanked. And so when we look at the unbanked that they were trying, and I think that's going to come back. So visitors to the United States will want access to their funds, and it will be through an ATM. And so if we look at the whole process, so now let's look at, well, where do you store these? What's a wallet, right? Wallets are, just like Mike said, is a wallet. It resides on your mobile device, and it is an opportunity for you to store or have access to your coin, Bitcoin or other currencies. There's 5,093 different coins, but there are only 5 that really matter. And so this digital wallet, Copay is a good one, Coinbase is a good one. There's 3 or 4 really good ones that allow you to pay in fiat and secure phone. Or you can use Liberty X, you can use CoinSource. All of those are means and ways to be able to buy Bitcoin. And so this is going to be the future. So we looked at, well, what is Bitcoin real? Is there a Bitcoin? The reality is that in Bitcoin in Q1 of 2020, 300,000 transactions in the world take place in Bitcoin. It is a major currency on a global scale. And what has changed in Bitcoin is that Bitcoin and some of the others were bought for investments. If there's you that have Bitcoins that are listening to this, you bought some at one price, you hoped that it would go up to another price, right? And that in many cases it did, some cases it didn't. But the reality is that you will have Bitcoins as a mainstream currency, and I think it's going to be in 5 years from now, not to replace the US dollar, though there are those you'll read that say, oh, the US dollar is about ready to get hit. The Bitcoin should be immune to all of those things. So the wallet is where you store that information. So you have the information, it's access. Where that comes from is what's called an exchange. And so an exchange is a company, and there's a bunch of them around the world, that can receive fiat from you and convert it into Bitcoin or Litecoin or all these other coins and send it into your wallet so that you have access. And one of the things that changed, so we looked at the investment side of Bitcoin, and that's what it was. And it was your play money. When you made a profit, you had extra, you made some money here. And what happened is you spent your Bitcoin profits any way you wanted. But today with COVID-19, one of the things that Mike was talking about, that Bitcoin money that you have is not your play money, it's your rent money. And that's what's driving these transactions, is the opportunity of use. And the ATM industry, us as a whole, will be able to drive that process. And that's why I say that you, ATM owners, are the keys to blockchain currencies going mainstream. Next slide, please. So we talked about some of these things. I won't drag on, but QR codes are what the entire blockchain world lives on. They're much secure. We have a very large, robust QR code. We put a lot of information into them. Some are less, some are more. We're ubiquitous, so we can accept them all. But QR codes, you will be seeing more and more because of the security they offer and the opportunity to provide data as they go. Last year, issuers lost about $50 billion on cloned payment cards. And like I said earlier, they do that because they take a card, they copy it, or they buy it off the dark web. They create a card with a mag stripe. It has a chip. They disable the chip with clear fingernail polish. Now they present the card into the chip reader. It doesn't work. They take the mag stripe. What's going to happen is that QRs make that replication of the mag stripe data almost impossible. And so that 50 billion is I think that's a pretty meaningful number to the issuers who will start looking to drive adoption of QR technology. So I think that the ATM and the QR using a mobile device is the future. I look at my mobile phone, I can do everything from start my car to check the temperature on my refrigerator. They call it the Internet of Things. And that is going to continue to grow and continue to be important. And being able to make payments, whether they're small micro payments, whether they're large significant payments, the ATM fits into every application and every usage. So I think the QR is the future of payments technology. Amber? So it's cash is still king, right? I don't care what anybody says. In my opinion, it's still future payments about ease of use, simplification of people's lives, and how to secure cash services. Because I think a major beneficiary is the unbanked. I think every unbanked, it seems like I've thought it was 99% have smartphones, and they will have access to funds. They can move funds from here, remittances, they can do. So I think that one of the major growth opportunities for us as an industry is the unbanked. But we have to communicate with them and have to have a way to process. And a credit card and a debit card is not it, but using their mobile and a mobile wallet is the future. Amber? So what's the future? All right, so we look at, and I'm with Mike, it's providing a full array of financial services for the banked, but also the unbanked, right? So we look at, there's 10 billion transactions performed at ATMs every year. The popularity of ATMs. What will grow your ATMs and drive your revenue is being able to do two things. One, offer services that they like, and two, being able to make them aware. I would say awareness is the biggest issue that this whole genre faces in the industry. And we're working on that. I'm sure others are as well. But what we will find is that the popularity of ATMs tied into things like COVID-19, and I think maybe in the years ahead, there may be COVID-20, but we know that ATMs are the centerpiece of cash access, particularly for the unbanked and also for the bank, and being able to have access to cash through a blockchain-based currency in the years ahead will be one of the real advantages that you have to offer and drive incremental revenue, which is the whole purpose of what we wanted to bring. Is you're driving the blockchain, but this is incremental revenue for you. Amber?